Hi everyone, I hope you've been having a good week. So I just finished cooking, but whilst I was cooking, I was thinking of Romans 8, verse 35 to 39. And that scripture speaks about how nothing can separate us from the love of Christ. And it immediately reminded me of my mom. She would always say, and she still says it today, that nothing can separate her from the love of Christ. Especially on a Sunday morning. No rain, no hail, no storm, no cold weather could separate her from going to church. And as a child, I thought it was that she was simply being strict. Now as an adult and as a parent, I understand those words differently. She was teaching us that our relationship with God cannot only exist when life feels easy or when there's comfort. Because life brings storms that are far greater than the ones outside. We all know that there are storms that enter your home, storms that leave you carrying things you never thought you would have to carry. And I believe that we all have those days. Days when you know what the word says, but you're tired. Days when you encourage everyone else, but then quietly ask, God, what about me? Days when you still have to be a mother. You still have to show up for work, for your career. You still have to show up for other people, even on the days when you feel heavy inside. And I think that's why the scripture has become so personal for me. Because Paul doesn't say that hardships will never come, that difficulties will never come, that there won't be days when you have experienced obstacles. He asks whether hardship has the power to separate us from the love of Christ. And the answer is no. The answer should be no. Not because the pain is not real, not because we never question God, not because we never become angry, disappointed, or tired, but because even in those moments, we are still His. And that is what I've always tried to communicate to my writing. Not that fate removes the storm. Not that becoming is always beautiful. But that even in the hardest rooms, the unanswered questions and the moments that almost broke me, God's love was still there. Let me say that again. Even in the unanswered questions and the moments that almost broke me, God was still there. And there is a thread that is running through my books. The belief that we can be wounded and still held, tired and still faithful, uncertain and still becoming. Because sometimes faith is not loud. Sometimes faith is not a powerful declaration. Sometimes faith is simply saying, God, I do not understand this chapter, but I'm still here. And perhaps there is enough. Because God's love has never depended on how strong you are or how strong you feel. It is always dependent on who He is. So now when I hear my mother's words, I understand what she was really giving us. She was giving us something we would actually need way longer after those Sunday church sessions. She was teaching us that faith is not only for clear skies or when the sun is shining. It is also for the days when life becomes difficult to understand. It's also for the days when you feel impatient, when the breakthrough has not come yet and you have to sit in the waiting room and be patient. So today I hear those words way differently. Nothing can separate me from the love of Christ. Not because life will never shake me, because it definitely has, and it still will. But because even when it does, God's love doesn't let go of me. And perhaps that is why you need to hear this today. You may be tired, you may be questioning, you may be uncertain, you may not understand the chapter that you are in, but you are not outside of the love of God. You are still held, you are still becoming, and you are definitely still His. So I hope that you continue in this week holding on to those words.